My dad joined Starfleet because he believed in it. I joined on a dare.
You joined to see if you could live up to him. You spent all his time trying to be your dad.
The biggest challenge of this film was Spock gets seriously injured in the movie, and to track the injury, and you know, when you're filming out of sequence, and it's something that has to be carried through a significant portion of the movie. That became the biggest challenge, is on a daily basis, sort of remembering how hurt I am, and you know, how that affects his physicality.
I spent the majority of the film running or getting beaten up, so anytime I had to face Idris, and he's a big guy. It was kind of scary.
Well, Jada is some sort of survivor, opinionated, strong woman who's been, alien woman, of course, who's been living by herself on this planet. Not the only person, but kind of in a very secluded way. And yeah, she had to learn how to defend herself, how to survive, live in there, and I suppose I had to go through some sort of training in order to portray her. She fights with a stick that she made herself. She wears a costume that she made herself. And yeah, she's cool.
The challenge was really to deliver something that was better than the last film. And thankfully, Simon and Doug wrote a fantastic script. And it was really important that we deliver something new to the audience. And I think that, you know, through the course of the film, these characters get separated, and characters that don't necessarily normally share time together get to in this film. And as a consequence, these characters have come to have a new understanding of each other. And I think that is ultimately a very rewarding experience.
You know, I discovered Star Trek when I was 8 years old. My family had just immigrated to the States, and they had a little fish and chips restaurant, and they would close at 9, we have dinner at 10, and Star Trek came on at 11. So my time growing up from 8 to 18, I got to spend it watching with my father, my brothers, and my mom. Well, JJ did such an amazing job kind of rebooting the first, you know, the whole franchise with these new actors, and we got to really get a sense of them before the 5-year mission, you know. And so I saw an opportunity on this chapter to really kind of celebrate, you know, the Star Trek that I grew up with, you know, and in a way, the characters, the audience has already gotten to know this cast for 2 movies. I felt like my job is to try to kind of embrace that, you know, and celebrate what came before for the last 50 years, but at the same time take the mission statement to be bold and to try new things and bring fresh perspectives and challenges to these characters.
Very much so. Mostly, for the most part. We had a blast working on this. You know, we got to hang out together in Vancouver. The first 2 films were shot in Los Angeles, and you know, those who are based in LA have their families and their friends. But this was like we were all away together, and so when we weren't shooting, we would hang out a lot together, and it was a lot of fun. But you're right, it's a family, and that's what, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it also just retroactively, I realized how important everyone is. Just with Anton and Leonard being gone, like it makes you reflect on how important these relationships are. Would you say? Yeah, you know, how fragile life can be, and not to take things for granted, not take people in your life for granted, because it's so easy to do.
You know, it's still very raw for all of us, you know, but I really feel fortunate to have done one movie with him, you know. I think a lot of times in filmmaking, people get jaded or get petty, and it gets, you know, but man, he shows up every day with a smile on his face. And it didn't matter if he had a big scene or a little scene, or he's, you know, part of the ensemble. He was always thinking, you know, and it just reminds me that that's the way you're supposed to make movies, you know, and that will always live on, I think, with me and with anybody that's ever worked with him.
Hold on to something! Fire at will! Do it! Do it!